When you first made your Whirlpool Championship debut, what was that like for you in your head? Did you go there excited, confident, nervous? What was the expectation that you had?
Well, I had no expectations. I mean, during the year, I played in many finals of the Euro Tour, semi-finals. So I played many great players, world champions. I beat them. So I knew I have a big chance actually to go far in the event. I always had that, kind of mindset that I can beat them all. And I still can remember the first ever match I had in the World Pool Championship. It was against Dang Junho. I got told before he plays like me, the same speed, pocketing the balls very quick, and so I lost 9-8 in a match where I maybe missed 1 or 2 balls. So people came to me and were like, "Wow, you played the best match ever in the World Pool Championship," but I lost. But then I won the next match like 9-1 or something, but then lost to Kevin Cheng, who won the US Open before. So I had a tough group actually, but being not a seeded player always makes it a tough draw. So, but I came back, played the next tournament in Europe, and was in the final again. So I think the experience I had there made my game much better, because I knew I have a big opportunity to be the world champion one day.
The 2017 world champion was Carlo Biado. You would play Carlo Biado the next year in the final of the World Pool Championship. Going into that match, what were you thinking that you were coming up against such a good player, the defending world champion? Where was your mentality at heading into that match?
Actually, after I won the semi-finals, which I shouldn't have won because Alex Kazakis was actually about to beat me, and then he made a big mistake towards the end. But I came up with a crazy good shot and played a tremendous safety on hill. So I think after that I felt like I'm alive now. I have nothing to lose now. But of course I told to Pia, how can be someone like back-to-back in a World Championship final? It's just amazing, like Carlo Biado did. But the break he had back then was just probably the best. But I had also, I think I've seen a statistic that I had like 90% break and runs doing the whole World Championship. So I knew I'm probably the player ahead, like with the scores and stuff. So I felt like I'm not the underdog, I'm the one who's going to win. And of course I had here and there a couple of rolls. And then the biggest point was he had ball in hand at 12-10 to make it 12-11, and he scratched with ball in hand. So I got lucky there, and I was just over the moon to be in my first World Championship final and beat Carlo Biado. But it's just was like a dream come true for me, for sure.
We've seen some great young champions. You fit that bracket yourself. What was that like for you to stand there after putting the winning 9-ball and know that you are the champion of the world?
Of course, on paper I was 20 years old, but luckily I had people on my side who put me into events early, so I gained so much experience. And of course I was on paper 20 years old, but I felt like 40 something because I had that experience. I knew how good I was, and that I could beat them all, if of course some rolls in here and there goes to my side. But the way I played at the World Championship was just tremendous. I think besides the US Open I've won a couple of months after the World Championship was probably the best performance ever in my whole career. But yeah, it was just unbelievable, to be honest. I came there after the first match. I told Toby I'm going to win the World Championship. I'm going to win it because I found a break which was so consistent, and the layouts I had after the break was just easy. Before the World Championship I made 25 break and runs, so I knew already I have an edge to win this. I had the biggest chance, and I took it. I was so confident, and I showed it in every match I had.
At the minute, would you say that your game is near or at the very best level that we've ever seen from Joshua Filler?
I would say shot making wise it's not as good as it used to be, but of course the bigger part now in the game is the safety game. Since we changed the rules of breaking and stuff, I worked a lot in kicking and all the safety games, so this is what stands out the most right now. Of course I'm missing probably more than I used to, but when it comes to tricky plays and being hooked, for example, which happens so often now, I'm coming, I think, with a better edge out of it. and this is what pays off the most. Of course, the braking is a different thing. It still needs to be nailed. I got to work on that, of course. But yeah, I think in average, like my game at all is probably the best because I'm complete. So I'm just looking forward to play against other players and see what I can still improve, and this is really important.
What does your practice schedule look like? How do you kind of prepare for all these big tournaments that you play in?
Yeah, I mean the break is the biggest part, of course. Have a consistent break, make the one ball and stuff. But of course, as I said, the safety game, the kicking and stuff is always a big part of it. Then sparring, playing against other players, and of course some spin shots and with clean balls, because on the TV table it's more slidey, and have it consistency and being well prepared for slidey conditions. So I'm always trying to have the same conditions as on the tournament, and then I'm better prepared than probably most of the other players.
I believe these days we probably see yourself, along with the likes of maybe SVB Fedor, as the main people to play in the TV tables, those conditions in front of the crowds, in front of the TV. How have, over the last couple of years, you adapted more and more to that? Do you ever think about it? Because I know a lot of players, it can get in their head a little bit if they're playing on that stage, or is it all just completely natural to you now?
I mean, my first experience ever was the 2017 Mosconi Cup, when I played in front of 1,500 people, probably 1,300 American fans, because we played in America. But I came out there, I mean, running down the stage, I had tears in my eyes because I was actually happy to be there. I was not afraid or something. I had goosebumps and was just ready to play, get to play in the team match. And the first chance I got was ball in hand, and I ran out the rack. And I think that was the biggest thing, having the first chance and take it in front of the crowd. So it gives you a lot of confidence, and it showed me that I think this kind of stage and playing in the last 16 arenas and stuff like that just fits to me perfect. And since that, I just can't wait to get out there, being in the last 16, and I think that favors me more when more people are watching, because it just gives me more like a boost.
Do you feel that as a mental boost in your head? Is there a clear difference in your mind between playing on the outside tables to playing in that main arena?
Well, I mean, I have to say, when I play tournaments in a local pool club or something like that, it's hard to be motivated, because I want to be out here in front of people and not playing in a club or something. I think this has changed myself during the years, because when you play the Mosconi Cup, the environment is just amazing. You want to play in front of people like that, and having the setup, and then you come to a pool club. It's hard to find the motivation and play as good as I play in the Mosconi Cup. But the motivation, playing in front of so many people and have that pressure, fits me so good, because I turn it into joy. And I don't know, when I get down there and walk into the arena, it just makes me ready, and I just can't play to get the cue in my hand and run out the racks.
We're heading into the World Pool Championship in Saudi Arabia this year. It's the richest prize that we've ever had on the World 9-Ball Tour. How excited are you to get out there to the Middle East and compete in this competition this summer?
Well, of course, to have it in mind how big the prize money actually is, it can change a whole life. It's a lot of money, but we're playing for a world championship title. I think this is even bigger than any prize money in the world. I don't think about the money, because of course money helps, but it doesn't change anything for me, because for me it's just the title and having the titles on my belt and stuff. So I know I won my first World Championship title in Doha, which is probably kind of the same area and the same temperature and stuff, so I know how it is there. I like it actually, but the switch in between the weather, like outside the 40-50 degrees and inside the 18, can make you sick sometimes, but I just can't wait. It's a World Championship. It's the first time ever in Jeddah in Saudi Arabia. It's going to be different, probably like the culture, I don't know. I've never been there before, so I just can't wait to be there, land safely there, and get on the practice table. Of course, in my mind, I want to go there and win for sure. I would lie if I wouldn't say the same thing. I know my chances. I know compared to other players how good I am, but luck is always such a big part in our game. You know, the last time on the World Championship I lost in the last 64. Of course, I didn't play good, but I know how fast it can be over, the dreams. But I changed a lot in my game. The safety game was so big in the last World Championship, so I knew what I have to practice on. But I'm just gonna work as hard as I can to be well prepared. Of course, I hope the luck is on my side, because that's what you need to be a world champion. You could see, like in the past, Fran came up with crazy shots which probably haven't won in a million, you know. And also when I won the World Championship, I got so lucky to not have lost in the semi-finals. Albin also was, I think, almost out. Shane, when he won the World Championship, he was 10-3 down against Mika Immonen. You know what it takes to win those titles. It's just incredible what has to happen. So I always hope that I have, you know, the luck on my side, and this is what you need. And of course, be well prepared, play good, and then we will see how it goes and what the outcome will be.
In your opinion, what does it take to become a world champion?
You need to play an average really, really well. Stop making like missing the easy balls. But sometimes when you miss, and you can hook your opponent, that's what can happen in our sport actually. Because in other sports, when you miss, you're probably going to lose. But in our sport, you still can wait for a big roll and stuff, you know. But yeah, having a good break first. Second, being good in jumps and kicks, because so most likely you get hooked when you have an opponent which plays the same level. So and hopefully with some break and runs, you know, going into the match, put pressure on the opponent, and then hopefully he makes some mistakes.
Who would you consider the front runners heading into the tournament, and what do you make of them?
Well, I always, you know, my opinion, when I talk to other players who are the top 3 players in the world, in my opinion, it's like Federer, me, and Kachi. Because I like the way Federer plays. His jumping abilities are crazy. Kachi, his breaking skills, his pocketing skills, and also kicking and safety makes him a complete player. So I think these 2 opponents are going to be tough. But of course, Albin, who was in so many quarters and finals of the World Championship, Shane. I mean, you can name probably 16 players who probably can win. But sometimes, out of nowhere, there's a different player who probably has the luck on his side, playing the best tournament in his life, and can be in the final or probably can win. So it's going to be super tough to name 1, 2, 3 players who will win. In our sport, the top 30, 40 players can also win those events, because the level we have right now is so tight, and luck can be the decisive point in every match.
And finally, if we get to the 8th of June and Joshua Philipp pots the winning 9-ball to win the World Championship, what would that mean to you to become a 2-time world champion?
Well, just by thinking about it, I get goosebumps. Of course, I'm going to dream until this day. But in the end, if you think about it and get distracted by that, it can affect your game. So, of course, right now I would say I'm probably going to cry or whatever, because when I won the World 9-ball or US Open, I had tears in my eyes, of course. It's the biggest thing. This is what you work for. And when the work pays off, which you put before in the event, like the practicing, the going into the gym, and whatever it takes, you have to take so many tributes in your life to win those events. It takes so much time to be so prepared and play so well. But yeah, if it pays off on the 8th June, it's going to be amazing, and it's going to be probably the biggest day in my life.